Okay, so on this video, I'm going to show you what you should have gotten for your answers on the quiz you took on Friday. So the first thing we're going to do here is divide both sides by -2. So that gives us sine theta equals negative radical 3 over 2. So that'll become positive radical 3 over 2. At this point, you can use your unit circle to find the two places where the sine is radical 3 over 2. So that's going to be 60 degrees, because this side is the long side, radical 3. And then this is 100, oops, nope, sign would be negative there. So we go there, that would be 120. So I'm looking for all the answers between 0 and 360. I just have a regular theta. Technically, it would be theta is equal to 60 degrees plus 360K, but if I add 360 to that, I'm going to get something bigger than 360. So when you just have a theta, you don't have to worry about the plus or minus 360. So you have theta could be 60, theta could be 120, and so those are your only two answers, okay? So over here on number 2, we're going to divide both sides by 3. So tangent theta is equal to negative radical 3 over 3. Now, it helps if, some of you have that written off to the side of your unit circle, but it helps if you remember finding sine, cosine, and tangent of the special triangles. This, I know, comes from -1 over radical 3. So if you look on your unit circle, you can find where that's the sine and where that's the cosine. But I know tangent is negative in the second quadrant and the fourth quadrant. Opposite side is going to be 1, so actually it'd be more like this. Opposite side is 1, adjacent is radical 3. So now I'm doing this from my knowledge of the triangles. If you're using the unit circle, you don't have to worry about this. But this is at 150 degrees, and this is at 300 degrees. So again, I have a theta. I don't have a 2 theta or a theta over 1 or even a theta plus 50 degrees. So my answers are just going to be 150 and 300 degrees. Okay. So then number 3, we need to, well, first of all, realize this -2 theta is inside that cosine and we cannot do anything with it. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. So that's going to give me cosine of -2 theta is negative radical 2 over 2. Now I remember that radical 2 over 2 comes from 45-degree angles, and cosine is negative in this situation. So cosine is negative over here, so I need a 45-degree angle there and a 45-degree angle there. You're also going to get that by looking at your unit circle, or you could even take your calculator and do inverse cosine of negative radical 2 over 2. So this is 135 degrees, and this is 225 degrees. But we have a -2 theta there. So I have to say -2 theta is equal to 135 plus 360K, or -2 theta is equal to 225 plus 360K. Now, I know that the cosine of a negative number is the same as cosine of a positive number. That's a rule that goes with cosine. So I could just drop this negative off here and work this, but most of you are not going to know that or remember that. So I'm going to work it as if that negative is important. So I'm going to divide everything by -2. So that becomes theta, and then half of 135. I'm going to be careful so I don't do something stupid on a video and use my calculator. So that's 67.5 negative. And then it's minus 180K, but I'm going to make it plus 180K because I can plug in negative values for K. So this out here, this is really plus or minus 360K because I could go in either direction. So I'm going to put a positive there. So then I'm going to divide this by -2 and get theta is equal to negative 112.5 plus 180K. Again, it should be minus 180K, but that's really plus or minus 360. So I'm going to take negative 67.5 and I'm going to add 180 to it. And that gives me 112. I'm running out of room here. So that gives me 112.5 degrees. I'm going to add 180 to it again, and that's going to give me 292.5 degrees. If I add 180 to that, then I get 472. It's too big. And negative 67 is too small because I'm looking for things between 0 and 360. So now I'm going to take negative 112.5 and add 180 to it, and I'm going to get 67.5. And I'm going to add 180 to that, and I'm going to get 247.5. And if I add 180 to that, I get something too big. So those are my 4 answers. It should make sense that I have 4 because I normally have 2, but I've got a 2 theta, so I'm going to have twice as many answers. Okay? If you're having trouble understanding why that is, you can go to Desmos and graph this equation and look at it, and you'll see that it crosses at 4 places. Okay,